Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. So today this is going to be the final episode of our Forward Castle saga. I challenged a 1500 player watch tech to go ahead and forward castle me on arena. He gets to pick his civ. I don't know what he's going to pick. I'm going to go random and I'm going to show you guys how to defend a castle drop in real time. So a few things I want to talk about, but first, before I show you guys the game, I just want to quickly show you guys something. I actually reached out to my Discord and asked, 1500, 1800 per video, and like 15 people responded within like a minute. 10:48. I had asked at 10:46. So the response was fantastic. So even this guy dropping a 950 elo, but I do better than those guys, those 1500 guys in your videos. So just want to say, I'm actually really pleased with my community on this one. And if you guys haven't joined our Discord, highly recommend you do so. I'm going to be doing this more often of just asking my community to hop on with me and record a video. But yeah, I wanted to share that because it's really cool. If you guys don't care, let's hop into the actual game. So we're going to start things off, GLHF. And we're doing this video because last time I made a how to defend a forward castle, or what if, someone forward castles you. And he's going to go with Mongols. I'm going to go with the Slavs. People were saying that, it should be good if you grab someone and do a practical example of how to counter the forward castle. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I want to make sure that you guys know the practical counter to forward castle, because this whole saga started after I did a booming guide on YouTube, on Arena, and people were saying that, this is great, but I always get castle dropped and I don't know how to deal with it. So I made a video showing how to deal with it in theory. Against an AI that didn't forwardcast me, and I got called schizophrenic, and obviously it was a really funny comment actually, because I was not showing the practical applications, it was more talking about theory. But in this video, I'm gonna get someone to actually castle drop me. He's rocking with the civ he wanted to, Mongols. It's a good castle drop civ. Some of the other ones, Turks, Spanish, Portuguese. Portuguese might be like the actual best. But I went random, and the idea is it doesn't matter what civ castle drops you, as long as you react according to the situation, according to the civilization. So against Mongols, they're going to be able to get out some Mangudai after dropping the castle, and they're going to be able to get the castle drop really fast because they got that hunt bonus. So that's the tricky thing with Mongol. It's hard to defend with siege because the Mangudai is really good against siege, and the castle comes down quite quickly. So it's a very good castle drop civ. And I just want to talk about something real quick as I do the normal build order for Arena. This is pretty standard if you guys have been following my castle drop saga, till now. Yeah, the idea here is that I'm challenging a 1500, and I really want to show you guys that 1500 is considered maybe top 5% of players, maybe top 8%, something like that. It's quite a solid elo. And at this level, they definitely know how to castle drop, and they definitely know how to put some pressure. And I want to show that if you guys are a bit lower elo, a bit higher elo, it doesn't really matter. You should still get some benefit out of this video. This video can even help like pro players in some ways, or not pros, but the pros will know this, but the 2K players, because some of the things I'll talk about and some of the things I'll show are exactly the same strategies I use in pro games. The only difference here, like between me going up against like Mr. Yo castle dropping me, for example, is that I'm going to be able to have more time and more space to talk about what I'm doing, versus Yo, I'm going to have to like really focus because the micro is usually quite difficult. So standard early game build order here. Nothing too crazy. We're going to go for a fast castle. Now, generally speaking, and I spoke about this in my last video about the forward castle, but generally speaking, if you expect a forward castle, you want to go something like either defensive castle yourself if you have a good unique unit, or something like, maybe scouts to try to stop it. But no matter what you do, the guy coming forward castle can actually get the castle up, okay? Because if you go scouts, you can then prepare a couple spears, send the spears forward, and get the castle up. So the idea for me, the theory is, I don't think you can ever prevent your opponent from getting a forward castle up. On Arena, I think if your opponent is well prepared, and he really wants to get the castle down, I think he will always be able to get the forward castle. And so the idea here is that we're going to do the worst response to a forward castle, which is the 3TC boom. Anything else like scouts gives you something to play with. Defensive castle gives you, defensive castle plus unique unit. Even just a straight up like monk rush, like 2-3 monastery monks will get you something to deal with the unique unit, and will let you contest relics. All of those strategies are better against forward castle, but oftentimes you don't know if you will get castle dropped. You can only have a hunch. And so we don't necessarily have a good strategy to deal with it. And the 3TC boom, especially in team games, like pocket position team games, is usually what you're going to want to go for. And so in this video, we're going to open 3 TC Boom, and we're playing the slabs, which is actually a very mediocre arena civ. It's not nothing too special. It has the fantastic boom, decent light cap play, decent monks, but nothing too, nothing too crazy. With this defense, you can probably, if you can pull it off with slabs, you can pull it off with pretty much any civ, and that's the interesting part. So standard build order here. Let's seed a couple farms. Let's get onto our wood. All right, fantastic. And we'll just go over some of the things we talked in the booming guide just while we're here. And at this point, you can just scout your opponent's map. I think it's good to scout your opponent's map and to also see the distance between you guys. That's going to give you a good example or a good idea of when the castle drop is coming. Or not when, but rather where. And actually when to some extent, because, if the walking distance is very far, it could definitely have an impact. Alright, so now we're going to take only 1 sheep at a time. This is something we talked about earlier. Boom, look at that. Not more than 1, and then the last 2 villagers will go to the forward gold and make a mining camp. Now, again, if you were certain that you're going to get castle dropped, you could just go for the back gold. But in this case, we're not 100% sure. But what we will do, guaranteed, is we're going to respect the Mongols' fast uptime, number 1. So as soon as, Feudal Age is almost there for me, I'm going to keep my scout inside my base so I don't lose it. Because Mongols tends to up a little bit faster than Slavs. And she ate an extra sheep. She's not following my YouTube tutorials. Look at her. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to keep my scout inside my base once Feudal Age is about to kick in. So I make sure to conserve that guy. That's one thing we'll do. The second thing we'll do, and I talked about in the other video, is just wall up a little bit here. As a second layer. So all our buildings, market, blacksmith, houses, will all be in the form of a wall. Again, take a look at my houses here. These are the first 2 houses I made. The other 2 I made them back here, which is actually a mistake. I should have made them here or here. All the buildings you make should be in place of a secondary layer of walls that is 8 tiles away from our original wall, so that the castle, even with Fletching and Bodkin, can't reach them and can't break them. That's the whole idea with that second layer of walls. It's actually very important. The next thing we're going to keep in mind is that the TCs we'll make, we're going to make them away from the front of our base. I'm not going to make a TC here, because then if I get castle dropped, it dies. And you always have to counterplay any kind of push. So here we're going to need a 1 house. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare the 1 house. I'm going to need a market, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare a market on this side. And I'm going to need a blacksmith, so I'll prepare the blacksmith on this side. Always 1 vil for the blacksmith and 2 vils for the market. And you always start by building the market first. So it looks something like that. Excellent. And that is pretty good. That market's a bit far forward, to be honest with you. It should not be there. Maybe a couple tiles back would have been better. But that's fine. Looks like our opponent has maybe a slightly later uptime, but that's okay. Should be a little earlier, but then again, it's a reasonable time. This is a 1500 player. A lot of you guys who will be playing will be facing guys that are this skill level or weaker. All right, I want to emphasize that. And there we go. There it is, we're up. This is the 24+2 boom build order. And I always mention it because I want you guys to take advantage of the resources that I have available for you guys. I have this build order color-coded PDF document perfect on my Patreon for my Patreon supporters, or on my Discord for my Twitch subscribers. So if you guys are interested, it is paywalled, but it is out there if you guys are interested. And it's not too expensive on either side. It's $5 per month, and you can cancel after 1 month, and you get access to the whole document. So it is always out there. And I really want people to make use of it if you can, because it saves you a lot of time. If not, if you can't afford it, no problem. I totally understand. Just watch what I do and try to copy it. This is a very standard build. Now, once I get Horse Collar, we're going to go ahead and slip in a couple more farms. All right. And at this point, close the castle. Now I'm just scouting nothing. Maybe I'm scouting relics, scouting how the map looks, etc. At this point, I need to do a couple things. I need to plan out my TCs. So 1 here would be perfect. 1 here would be perfect. Or maybe actually 1 at the back near the gold would be perfect as well. Anything that's not on the front. Again, I really want to emphasize it can't be on the front. That's how you die fast, okay? And I would do this. I would place my TCs like this under any circumstance. This is not because I know I'm going to get forward castled. I will place my buildings and place my TCs at the back every single arena game. If I get monk rushed, if I get forward castled, if I even lose space and lose ground later in the game, I want my economy to be at the back of my base, right? So here it is. We're going to go ahead and plan out our TCs. So these guys will go here. These guys will go there. And as I get forward castled, I'm going to go ahead and respond, but only once I see it. If I don't see it, I'm going to continue my boom. I do it like this, TC here, TC there. Now we're going to go ahead and get double bid axe. Now, I would skip heavy plow if there's any risk of getting pushed, okay? So in this case, because I'm thinking that, okay, Mongols could have the option of forward castling me, I could decide to skip that. And it's probably the correct decision. So I will skip that one. And I highly recommend that you do skip it if there's any risk that you're going to get pressured. If you're versus a civ that will 100% not pressure you, you can go for this, alright? And in the pure booming guide, I actually recommend to pick that up. But I do put a little caveat there that it's not 100% required, alright? So here he comes with the forward cast. He's going to drop it right on my nose, okay? And now we can start reacting to the forward cast, okay? So now my mindset's going to go from a pure boom setup to a defensive forward castle. Now, the first thing I talked about is we're going to have to make sure we're 100% walled. And this is very easy to do because we already set up our base to be walled. This is not something I'm doing right now. We already set up to do this. The next thing I'm going to do is seed a few more farms just to stabilize our economy as much as we can. But not too many because we don't need to float excess food. Now, what counters the Mangudai is initially some Scorpions, soft counter. Monk is a soft counter. It works only against a few Mangudai. And then after that, I'm going to look to get to a proper counter unit. And then look to push back the castle, okay? So step one is initial defense, walling plus siege or monk. One of the two, whichever one performs the best. We're going to always pick up Bloom. So here in this case, okay, I see the castle here. It's going to break on this side. I've got a couple weak areas with the palisade wall. Let's go ahead and think of a defense. So I versus Mangudai will probably... I have Slav monks. I'm going to go monks. But I think siege is okay as well. And if he goes his siege, then I'll make my own siege. But I'll start with the monastery. Keep in mind, monks here are not meant to kill Mangudai. In fact, a really good player will never lose a single Mangudai to a conversion. It's not going to happen. But what they are meant to do is actually buy myself some time. Because the whole point here is that my economy is way better than his right now. He invested all the walking time forward, the 650 stone in the castle. He invested so much. Now he's making Mangudai and siege. Okay, so now I see the siege. Boom, I make my own siege workshop. See that? Immediately. And I just have to buy myself some time. Notice how I'm booming all towards the back of my base here, okay? Siege is coming up. I got the monastery as well. And look at that second layer of walls. How many of you guys watching, like sincerely, will have a second layer of walls prepared? You probably not. So this will hit the wood line, then it gets messy. But here it's like he basically can't do anything until he breaks the second layer of wall. And his castle is useless against it because I built it a little bit further back. And now you'll see how we play with the monks. I'm not going to convert anything. I'm just going to push him back and chill. Alright? Push him back and chill. Meanwhile, we continue booming. This is the hard part. You gotta continue booming while this is going on. I didn't say it was easy. Okay? Now I'm gonna go for a Mangonel to counter his Mangonel, and the monks will counter the Mangudai. And again, counter in this case, it's just a defensive counter. My main plan is to boom to a counter unit, a proper counter unit, to allow me to push back and not, not lose the game, to actually be able to win the game. Now our base will be broken. So again, I'm just playing super defensive, attack ground function. I'm not trying to kill his Mangudai because that would be risky. I have to just push him away. The TC will help, the monks will help. Alright, and if I can sneak something in, sneak in some pressure, sneak in, sniping a Mangonel, I will. But if not, I'm playing super defensive. Because the more time passes, the better it is for me. Now we're going to start getting up to stone. Maybe, actually, we need a counter first. And maybe we need some skirms, something like that. So get onto some skirms. My TC is defending me for the time being. I won't even rely on quick walls. I'll just show you guys what happens if we can just keep ourselves safe away from this side. Alright, we can start hitting that maybe. If he dives too deep, look at that, he gets converted. You see that? We punish him for diving deep. No quick walls used, nothing. Our TCs are protecting everything. There we go. We're just trying to do our boom with all this happening. And it is hard with the micro. You could lose the game. That's what I want to emphasize. You could just lose the game. You're not guaranteed to win just because you watched my video. But as you can see with the defense, we're able to buy time. Because we're playing so defensively, we're able to just chill, not lose any ground. And he comes to the second castle. It doesn't actually matter here. We're fine. We're just defending. Alright. That ground. Perfect. And it doesn't matter if our economy is a little inefficient. The idea here is that we're just buying ourselves some time and not completely dying. Now, I'm floating a lot of res. Now I've got a lot of res to work with. Now we're going to start expanding to the back. And I need to get out a proper counter. There we go. My monk's doing quite well. Again, the Slavic monk's pretty strong. So I've actually defended everything because he dove too deep. And we're able to defend everything. And now, okay, we need a proper counter. That next castle is really good. So what does my proper counter entail? It entails a unit to counter the only unit he can make here, which is the Mangadai. So ballistic skirmishers would be perfect. All right. And the next thing it entails is a castle to push back with Trebs in the imp. Those are the two things you're looking for here. All right. So we'll continue defending. All right. Expanding to the sides. I got my university. All right. I got everything set up here. It's hard to push in there, but I have my wall, so he can't push in besides killing the town center. So although I can't kill that one, you know, I'm still relatively safe back here. You can even repair your town center if you want to buy yourself some time. You have a lot of options here that you can just chill. And he's done a quite a good job, by the way. Credit to this guy. He's done quite a good job so far of pressuring me. That second castle forward is really good. That's exactly what you'll face in most games. And just keep in mind, I'm just not panicking. I floated a lot of resources before, so I'm actually not playing very well. But I'm just spending them, whatever I can to buy time and spend the res. And now I'm just waiting for the scrims to come out. I can use attack rounds. I can try to buy myself some time. Scorpions are really good as well. There we go. And see, a mistake there from him, and he gets punished. He gets punished. There we go. And see, scrims are really expensive. You see, if I tried to go for the scrims right away, it would be very hard to afford them. You only can go for scrims later. And now we're saving up for a castle. And this is the amazing part. Now I can actually just let this TC die. I'm ready to defend myself now. I don't need to continue repairing it. I'm only missing ballistics. Now I have it. I've got fully upgraded skirms to defend. Alright? And you might be thinking, Slav skirms are not that good. Like, why not go for something that Slavs are good at? Not yet. We always go counter unit first. Because if we go to our best unit right away, we're not going to get there. We're going to die before we're able to spam out our best unit. So we have to go counter unit first. We have to stabilize. 100% we have to stabilize. So here, for example, we're going to look to get our castle up. Maybe actually right here would be perfect. Hopefully he doesn't kill it with the mangonel. No, I think that's risky, so we're going to cancel that one. I have to actually really watch out for that, by the way. We're going to use our mangonels to defend. And now we'll get the castle. Perfect. And now we just have to defend this castle. Make sure it goes up. And then the defense should be absolutely done. Alright? That's like the last big point on defense. After that, we're going to look to push back. And I'll show you guys how to do that. And now we can actually kill this Mangadai. Now we have a proper counter unit to where he can't bully me anymore. See that? Once the castle's up, now it's the pushback phase. Okay. And what if I float res? It's normal. Now you spend the res. 1,000 wood, that's a no-go. If you guys watch my coaching videos, you guys know all about that. We never want to see 1,000 of a single resource, so now we just spend it. And again, I'm not a pro player because I don't float res. I'm a pro player because I spend my res fast when I float it. That's really the difference. And now we're going to rush the imp. Why? Look at my position. I'm in the corner of the map. I have a lot of bills. I have a really good economy. Better than him, in fact. But I'm in the corner of the map. Now we got to get at the imp. So I would sell whatever I have. Alright? If you balance your economy perfectly, then you're fine. But you have to get out of the corner. So this is stage 3 of the defense. This is the pushback stage. And notice he made some light cap. But click it. No upgrades. Why? It's very hard to make light cap here. He doesn't have a lot of economy. He can't afford that. So I'm calling his bluff. I have ballistic skirms. He has no upgrades. I don't care about your light cap, sir. I don't care. Your light cap will not be very good. So I'll just continue making skirms. Skirms counter light cap. Don't tell Nilly I said it. Alright? So skirms counter light cap in this situation. And now we're going to look to push back. Now I want to start getting into some of the good Slavic units. But notice if I try to go for like a stable play right now, I have like no gold. I have no space. So I have to push back the castles first, okay? So if I do start making some kind of transition, it's going to be a very limited transition, okay? So I'll start getting a couple stables down. Because I do know, okay, Hussar, Cavalier. Maybe I'll start with Hussar because I don't have any gold right now. I have only limited access of gold, which I will actually need for the trebuchets. That's going to be the main tool to push back, okay? Alright, so take a look. We're going to continue expanding to the corner. And now we're going to go for the pushback. Trebs, defend the Trebs, and then maybe one more castle to reclaim the land, or the next castle can go forward. Now the situation here, and I talked about it in the other video, he should have all 5 relics, okay? He's not picking them up right now, you know? He can potentially have picked them up. He has access to them. The important thing here is that we don't want to stall the game. If the game gets the 2-hour mark and he's got the relics from here, it's really bad. I have the advantage now in terms of economy. I don't have the advantage in terms of map control, and I don't have the advantage in terms of late game because he's got the relic and he's got potentially all the gold on the map. So I need to put my foot on the gas right now. And this is where most people will die if they don't already die to the forward castle. It's right here, okay? So how do I do that? We're gonna start, I need a market actually. We're gonna start by pushing this all back using trebuchets. I'm missing a market here, so I'm actually quite delayed right off the bat. And we're also gonna spam as many units as possible to get right back into the map, okay? Space is limited, but wherever you can build, you know, your buildings or whatnot, get something on the map. I'll still continue making skirms. It's the main counter to his units. Alright. This manga dive. We're also gonna start making the light cap, which is our pushback unit. It's our main unit. And now we get very nice access to trebuchets. And so now my opponent is in Castlage, and he has very little to do. I've got a castle, he can't really push that. I've got Imperial Age units coming out very soon. That's going to be hard for him to deal with. I'm going to get, for example, chemistry in my skirm, so even against light cav, they'll do well. And I really have to credit my opponent here. He's trying his best to continue the pressure or do something. But as you can see by the score, it's actually really hard to kill me. Like, really hard to kill me. And I've got a really, really massive lead in terms of economy, in terms of resources gathered. So now it's just a matter of putting that economy on the field as fast as possible. If I start floating res, and my opponent is turbo booming 5PC now, and I don't push him all back, we're going to get to the situation here where he's going to have the relics, and we're going to be in a late game. Which is bad. I don't want to be in that situation. I want to kill him as fast as possible in game. Alright? And I don't want to have to worry about late game where he's got relics and I don't. Alright? He's killing my blacksmith. I actually don't like that. I kind of need that, sir. Can I have the blacksmith? I'll make a new one just in case. But let's try to defend this blacksmith. There we go. Yeah, again, skirm's kind of light cav. Push back. And now I've got the light cav of my own. I've got the trebs. And take a look at my composition. It all came together. Alright? And now it's a race and a rush to 200 pop. And it's a race to pressure him back. My units are stronger. I've got the trebs. I've got one more castle here to reclaim my entire map. It's a race to get back across the map. And he knows that. The GG well played. I'm going to drop the GG myself. This is easy to win now. We push it all back. We have the eco lead. And all we have to do now is reclaim the map and end the game as fast as possible. Now, if you guys don't believe I have the eco lead, take a look at this. He's got a 2DC setup. He's got a decent amount of vills. I'd put him around, if I had to guess, something like 68 or 65 vills, something like that. We'll take a quick look. He's at 66, so within the range that I gave. And we're at, what, 112? So we have a 50 villager lead. We're in Imperial Age, and we're ready to push it back. And this is one of the best castle drop civs. Let's say maybe a top 5 or top 10 castle drop civs versus a very mediocre civ. And it really doesn't matter what civ you have, because any civ should have the bonuses needed to defend and give yourself a chance to win. Now, a few things I'll talk about before ending the video. Number one, you're not guaranteed to win. The forward castle player can do a lot of really good damage and can easily win the game. Why? Because he's got the pressure, and if you're on defense and you start losing vills, it can snowball out of control. But as you can see, if you employ these very basic options, like walling behind, you know, that second layer of walls bought me another 2 minutes. That's huge. That let me get, you know, the monk siege out, which then bought me another 5 minutes to get the skirms out. And then once I had the skirms set, and I was able to, the skirms let me get the forward castle, or sorry, the defensive castle. Without the skirms, if I just drop a castle, I could lose the game, right? His mangonels can easily kill my castle, and it could really snowball. So every step led to the next step and kept me safe. Until the very end, where I get to Imperial Age, I treb him back, and now it's a huge pushback that he has no chance to deal with. As you can see, his Castle Age, this castle dies, this castle is shortly going to follow shortly after, and it's just going to be an absolute disaster for him. And again, this is obviously a big mismatch of skill, but don't take this as face value of, okay, we know Hera, you can beat a 1500. That's not the idea. All right, if you want to see me do this kind of defense against pro players, you can watch my Twitch stream. You can watch, you know, some of the tournaments I played. In the first, in the previous video about the defensive castle, I did provide examples of me doing this against pro players, so it is possible. It's just that I can't commentate when doing it because it does take a lot of focus. The micro battles are more intense. But what's going to be the same? The principles. Against a pro player, I'll still build my base like that. I'll still make my TCs towards the back. I'll still try to spend my resources and boom while under pressure. All right? It's the same exact game. It's just amplified to a next degree. So my advice to you guys, if you're playing arena or whatnot, and you guys want to play a booming style or a defensive style, and you're playing it up against, you know, forward castles, it's the most popular strat. It's easy to execute a forward castle. You just have to learn a build order and send it. All right? It's harder to defend because you have to be under pressure. You don't know what's coming. You don't know where you'll get attacked. So this video should help you guys defend the forward castle. And if you're an aggressive player and you like forward castling, this video will also help you because you now know what your opponent will be trying to do. And the forward castle player is just trying to break this defense by putting pressure on different areas, maybe trying to fast imp, maybe trying to wall him in and pick up the relics and stall for late game. You've got options as the forward castle player, but it does depend on you dealing damage. If you don't deal any damage, the defending player usually wins. And that's pretty much the end of this tutorial, and it's the end of the forward castle on Arena Saga. This video should help you on defense in both 1v1s and team games. Please note that on team games, if you are getting 2v1'd or 3v1'd, you will die, but your job is to buy as much time as possible. So the idea, if you can get a defensive castle in a team game, if you can secure that perfect, that's great. You'll die, but you'll at least stay relevant or buy your team a lot of time. And hopefully your team can carry. And if they can't, well, that's okay. So this concept will help you in any situation on Arena, and you can even take some of the tools that we talked about here and use them on other maps and other situations as well. But this is just happens to be the most common situation. And the final point here is that notice my composition is actually very complete. Once I'm ready to push back, because I needed the skirms or the defensive unit to push back against the Mangadai, I then go into my power units and I have a very complete composition. And if my power unit is the skirm or is like the arbalest, perfect. Let's go into arbalest. Bomber cannon arbalest, I push it all back. Perfect. So whatever composition you get into, it's going to naturally be very complete because you have a defensive unit and you're going to have an offensive unit and a siege unit, which is usually your entire composition in general. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll go through the stats real quick. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I'm going to be using my Discord community more often for videos like this. I really love their enthusiasm to get in on some action. And I hope you guys found this beneficial. Make sure to check out my Patreon content if you guys want exclusive guides and content. It's similar to this, but it's actually better because I don't hold anything back and I cover a wide variety of topics. Like here, I just made 3 videos on Forward Castle. On Patreon, I've got like 10 to 15 videos on a wide variety of topics, but I don't just tell you how to play in theory. I also tell you how to do it in practice, what buttons to click, exactly what to do at what time. Basically, I'm solving the, it depends question. Like you ask someone, what do I do there? Oh, well, it depends. It's complicated. It's complicated. It depends. But on Patreon, I tell you what it depends on and what are the different factors you have to consider. So check that out if you guys want to get better at this game. And if not, make sure to like, comment, subscribe on this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and stay safe.